Good morning. How are y'all?
Hey, good morning. It's Marie Sanderson. Brown is here, but we only have one set of earphones, so I'm going to do the
Okay.
talking for us today.
That sounds great. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Marie. So tell everybody again, I know you've been on the air before, but just give us a brief overview of exactly what is the Mississippi 30-Day Fund.
Sure. The Mississippi 30-Day Fund is a nonprofit, so it's a 501c3 who accepts charitable donations for us to deploy those dollars to small businesses in need. And that need is a result of the COVID pandemic. And we define small businesses by 3 to 30 employees. Must be a Mississippi business and must be a Mississippi resident in order to qualify for the funding.
Yes, and we should just make it clear that this is not affiliated in any way with government, that there are no public funds that are injected into the organization. This is really, it's your brainchild to create a not-for-profit organization that raises money and then makes from the private sector, from private contributors, and then makes that money available, those funds available to small businesses that qualify, that meet the eligibility criteria. It's really the private sector approach, frankly, to trying to provide relief to those small businesses that were damaged economically as a result of the lockdowns and the shut-ins and so forth. So I just want to make that distinction. And the list of partners, Marie, is impressive. Tell us about some of those.
Thank you. Well, we not only have personal donors who've stepped up to the plate, but corporations as well. Atmos Energy, Sanderson Farms, C-Spire are just a few of our corporate sponsors that have been able to give foundation dollars for our cause. And we really appreciate these leaders in our state to pay it forward to small businesses in their areas.
Yeah, and then
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, and then a number of just individual private donors that also heeded the call as well. You guys have done a great job in reaching out, and I believe most people were more than happy. I think people feel better about putting their money to work in a charitable fashion through such an organization as yours than they do just adding more money to their tax return, if you know what I'm saying there.
Sure. We have had some enlightening conversations with donors. Some people, it is true that there are some businesses that have been buying during these times. And when the PPP program, which is the federal program to help small businesses, was created, a lot of people applied for those monies because they didn't know what 2020 would bring. And we've had some donors say, my 2020 was better than I thought, and I'm going to pay those dollars forward. My PPP is likely to be forgiven, and I'm going to pay that forward to your charitable fund so you can help other businesses that aren't as well off as I.
Awesome. I didn't know that. Thanks for pointing that out. And so how much money have you raised?
Well, we've raised a little north of $350,000. We are raising money at this point to pay for our pipeline, our wait list. We are actively telling people, if we don't have the money for you, that we're going to raise it. One of our largest donors came in last week outside the state. The Kellogg Foundation, which is a national foundation, is investing dollars to help with minority and women-owned businesses, and with a particular focus on child care centers. And we're really excited about that.
Wow, that's awesome. So you got national attention in that regard when you get the Kellogg Foundation coming to the call. So that's great. And so how many applications have you received, Marie, that have been processed and money that's been deployed?
Well, we have well over 600 businesses on our wait list. By the time we finish deploying the dollars from the Kellogg Foundation, we would have funded between 100 and 150 businesses. We are moving through that wait list as we go. And our initial goal was to fund 100 businesses and raise $300,000. But at this point, we're on our way to exceed that. And we are absolutely thrilled with our progress. And as long as there's a need, we're going to try and do what we can, as long as there are charitable Mississippians who want to pay it forward to try and help that need.
And we should be clear, these are forgivable loans as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're a donor listening and you're interested, you can go to Mississippi30dayfund.com, and we are a 501c3, so it is a charitable donation. And if you're someone in need, you may go ahead and apply. We have a simple application, and then we ask you to send us a video, which is different than some of these state and federal programs. We actually want to get to know you. So we want you to submit a video about who you are, what your business is, and how our support can help.
And the organizations involved in reviewing and processing those applications. Tell us about that.
That's a great question. I'm really glad you asked it. One of the ways that we are able to distribute every dollar raised with no overhead, no one involved in our process is taking an overhead. We're all volunteers. It's because of the generous partnership between Mississippi State's Business School and Ole Miss's Law School. And so we have student volunteers who have helped us over time. We had an executive director over the summer who we just lost and went to law school, but we've brought on 2 new volunteers. So everyone behind the scenes is processing these applications in their spare time, but doing so in a very thorough way. We have a very specific checklist and process that we go through to make sure that we are good stewards of the dollars that are donated to us.
So imagine that. Lots of good people, lots of good Mississippians helping fellow Mississippians. What a novel idea. I mean, it sounds so simple, but you guys don't just talk the talk. You're walking the walk here, and that's, to me, what's most impressive, and certainly we are grateful for that and for your initiative here. When I was first contacted by Kirby, who's been on the air, I think you joined him.
He's a great supporter.
Yes, indeed. When you guys launched this, it made so much sense. So, what kind of feedback have you received? What sort of stories, if any, have been shared by the recipients of these funds?
It's really heartwarming, and the best way to learn about our program is to go to our social media feed. We are posting videos of all of our recipients, and most of those are in the form of testimonials. My business is located here. These dollars are going to help me do the following. Sometimes we ask the applicant if we can FaceTime them when we call, and one woman answered the phone and she lost her storage unit and was sitting among all of her wedding decorations. So it's truly heartwarming.
That's awesome. Marie, I can't thank you enough on behalf of Mississippi for the great work here. It's such a great concept and idea, and you guys have been very successful at it. Proud to play a small part in it, and just grateful for your concern for Mississippi. Thanks so much for joining us today. You guys stay safe and have a good day.
Thank you. We appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Indeed. Marie and Brian Sanderson, founders of the Mississippi 30-Day Fund. Stay with us for more on the JT Show, SuperTalk Mississippi.